Vacation pay. If you haven't run away by now, then as the comedian prison guard said to the inmates, it's great to have a captive audience. Hi, I'm Evan from CanadianPayrollConnected.com, and for the past 15 years I've been learning the ins and outs of labor standards across this great country of ours. Vacation pay is one of those areas that people always seem to get hung up on, and more often than not, they seem to be doing it wrong. So I'm hoping with this video I can get you on the right path to keep you out of hot water with your employees. Before we get into that, as I mentioned, this video is sponsored by PayrollConnected.com, my business, and if you decide by the end of this video that all of this payroll calculation nonsense is too complicated or you just don't want to bother with it, you can use our software, the only fully automatic payroll processing software in all of Canada, to process your payroll automatically for you, including regular time, overtime, vacation pay, and even statutory holiday pay, all by your province's own unique labor standards. So if you like the way that this payslip looks, nice and clean, net pay at the bottom, and you find vacation pay to be a bigger pain in the butt than you want to deal with, please go to payrollconnected.com and try our software completely free for 30 days. We don't even ask for a credit card. Now, back to vacation pay. What most people will do if somebody is going on vacation is they will just take their regular wage, let's say it's $20 an hour, and they'll just give them their regular shift of 8 hours, and they'll call it a day. So this employee would get $160 for a day off, and everybody's happy, right? Wrong! Unfortunately, labor standards are written in a very specific way. The provinces and territories usually have vacation written up as a percentage. In Ontario, for example, you start at 4%. This isn't by accident. This is to give the employees an advantage over the entire year. So if you're paying them $160 for their day off, you should be actually giving them a little bit more than that. So why is this wrong? First, let's consider if an employee is making a nice, easy to understand amount of $52,000 a year. Why 52? Because there's 52 weeks in a year. So that'll make this math really easy, okay? That means that every week that they're working for you, they're going to get $1,000 naturally. So if we take a look at a couple weeks worth of work, that'll be $2,000. Follow me so far? So this employee, if they work for you for 2 weeks, will get $2,000. Hopefully that's simple enough. Haven't lost you yet. Now, in Ontario, for example, but again, and this applies to any province that has a percentage in their legislation, if we have 4%, and apply that to the $52,000, we get a little bit more than what you might expect. So 52,000 multiplied by 4% equals $2,080. But as you can see by this simple calculation, if you're paying them just the $20 an hour, you'd be actually ripping them off. They'd be getting a little bit more than that over the run of a year if you're following your province's labor standards. And again, this works for any province, not just Ontario, because all the labor standards have your vacation as a percentage for that reason. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about is vacation days. Vacation days are often thought of as being directly linked with vacation pay accrual, the earning, the rate, the percentage, but really they're a very different animal. Even though they walk with vacation pay accrual, they don't really walk hand in hand, and I'll try and show you why. Vacation days are different than the vacation pay in that you get a solid percent of earned vacation time off with every payroll. The easiest way to calculate that is to think of a work week in your company for an employee. In most businesses that work 40 hours or 44 hours, an employee is working 5 days a week. 2 weeks worth of business days is therefore 10 days a week. So over the course of a work year, the employee is entitled to 10 days of vacation. Agreeable? Excellent! Now we take the 10 days, or it'd be 8 days if you only work 4 days a week, and divide it by the number of pay periods that your employees are being paid. For example, if your employees are paid every 2 weeks, this will be divided by 26 pay periods in a year, which results in 0.385 essentially vacation days earned every single payroll run. So the first payroll run, they will get this amount. The second payroll run, they will have this much saved up. And so on and so forth throughout the year. Whenever they want to use some vacation time, the HR person or whoever's running the payroll will take a look at what they have saved up and do a calculation based on both the number of vacation days they have saved and the amount of vacation pay they've accrued. So this amount is being saved at a certain rate, and the vacation pay is being also earned at a certain rate, usually 4% for starting out. So even though this is based on an employee's wages, this is not. This is just based on a period. Because of that, there's actually a disconnect between the two in such a way that if an employee takes 8 hours off, in our previous example where an employee would earn $160 if they worked 8 hours, remember that? They won't necessarily get this wage when they take vacation time off. If they have been working a solid 8 hours every single day, like a good loyal employee that you expect them to be, it would be basically 160 times the extra 4%. 1.04 equals 166.4. So we'd be ripping them off $6.40 on this particular vacation payout. We don't want to do that, do we? We can bear this out by simply remembering that this is what we calculated, 160, for a single 8-hour day of work. Remember that? We got 8 hours times $20 an hour equals 160. Okay, so that's one day. I'll reverse calculate this based on an annual salary so you'll see exactly where this number comes from. If we take 160 and multiply it by, 5 work days in a week? So they earn $800 every single week that they work for you. $800 a week times 52 weeks in a year is $41,600 that they will earn annually. And if we apply our wonderful 4% vacation to this entire amount, we get $1,664 for 2 weeks of vacation. Remember that this 4% is for 2 weeks of vacation. So if we divide it back down by the 10 vacation days that they're going to have in the year, ta-da! For each vacation day they take, they get $166.40. So this is the reason why we don't just say, here's 8 hours, here's your wage, off you go. Now, all that said, we will very, very rarely XX work out to be exactly that amount. Why? Because even though we're accruing our vacation rate at the 0.385 vacation days per pay period, remember that number? That is a steady rate. This usually is not a steady rate because your 4% is going to also catch on overtime, if depending on your province, or statutory holiday pay, depending on your province, or if they had to take a bit of time off of work, gratis, just time off, not getting paid for it. That'll all affect the pool of vacation pay that they have accrued, okay? This is the same as a regular employee getting their vacation paid out. Think of it that way, right? If they have to take a bit of time off, they're not getting paid extra vacation pay for that time off. Neither should your employees that are accruing vacation pay. All right? So even though, let's see if I can come up with an example for you here. Okay, we'll switch over to a little bit of Excel action here. So vacation days. They usually get 0.385 every single payroll. So if we take this number and we just add it again, plus 0.385 every single payroll run, we can see that over a number of pay periods, we'll just go this many pay periods, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pay periods, they have saved up a couple of days of vacation pay, okay? Now, using the previous example, we have the employee, they make about 160 bucks a day. Over the course of 2 weeks, that will be equals 160 times 10 business days equals that much money every single payroll run. Okay, not too bad of money. They make that for a couple of pay periods. And then down here, let's say that they made a little bit of overtime. Okay, so in this province that we're working in, they get a little bit of overtime. Now let's say that there is a stat day in there, and so they get a little bit more for the stat day and a bit of overtime as well. So we'll go up to 1,700. And for these last few, whoops, they worked their regular wages. It doesn't really matter that much, except for this one here. They had to take a bit of time off. They had a sick aunt and didn't have sick pay for this one. So they took a bit of a pay dip. They missed a little bit of time there, okay? Now, let's say they want to take some time off. If we add up all the vacation pay that they've earned so far, it will be the sum of all this, SUM, and we're going to apply our magic rate of 4% times 4% equals, this is what they have saved up for vacation pay, okay? Now, to figure out how much time they want a day off, now they want a vacation day off. Hey, why not take a vacation? So to figure this out fairly, all you need to do is you divide this number by the number of days that they've come up with, that they've saved up, to come up with a daily vacation pay wage for them, right? So if we divide this number by the amount of days that they've saved up, they will earn 167.42 for every day that they decide to take off for vacation pay. As you can see, just a little bit of variance in here changes this number quite a bit, more than you might expect. So for that reason, as I said before, they will almost never get the wage that you expect, because even the smallest variance here will have an effect down here. For that reason, I recommend that this is the best way to keep it fair for all of your employees. Do it the exact same way. They accrue at the same rate every single pay period, because that's the only way you can really ensure that they're going to get their full 2 weeks of vacation pay owed to them throughout the year. And of course, we always want to apply our 4% rate when we're saving up the vacation pay. Beyond that, whatever the result is whatever the result is. I just had a client call me the other day, and she was complaining that an employee was only getting $14 an hour for her vacation pay, whereas she was actually earning $18 an hour. And she always earns $18 an hour, so it should always be $18 an hour. Except, as it turned out, the very first payroll that she had with this company, she only worked 1 week, not 2, and that affected the ratio. Essentially, she only worked half the wage for the first week, and as you can see down here, that drops the wage instantly to less than what you might expect it to be, but this is actually fair because they only worked half a day up here, okay? This calculation is the best way to keep things fair. So, if you have any questions about this, leave it in the comments sections below. If I missed anything, please do the same. I'm not by far the end-all be-all on this stuff. I'm just giving you my experience through all these years of doing payroll. If you think that this is all a headache, please go to our website, payrollconnected.com, sign up for a free 30-day trial, and instead of taking hours trying to figure this stuff out, you could take 5 minutes and have your payroll completely done. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to making more for you. Have a great night.